Hey everybody, I wanted to do a quick live video versus doing a recording and editing it. It's a lot easier sometimes to do things live. Just a quick update. Jason, the cameraman, he's probably going to be out for the next few weeks. He was exposed to the coronavirus. I think a lot of you guys already know that his family works heavily in the medical industry, and they were notified that they had been exposed. So now they're in quarantine. So we won't have a cameraman for a little while. And I hope you guys, wish him and his family the best. But what I wanted to talk about today briefly is a bill that's been proposed in Congress. It was introduced on 3/10, so just in the last 11 days. And this bill is an assault weapons ban on steroids. Now, it seems like when there's a national emergency, when something goes wrong, there's a certain group of legislators that have a bill waiting in the wings, hoping to take advantage of public panic to pass another grab for our firearms. And that's what's happening right now. Now, I'm sure the strategy is to try to push this thing through in the middle of the night under the auspices of being, for the public safety. Oftentimes that's how these things are presented in times of national tragedy, or in this case, a global pandemic. And so I wanted to get you guys the information that you need to go out and research this. And then while you're at home, make sure you're reaching out to your representatives, both federally and at the state level. But right now, this is a federal bill that was introduced into the House. It's House Bill 5717. And it's an assault weapons ban coupled with an unimaginable number of other gun control measures. So I'm going to briefly go through them here for you guys so you get an understanding of just how bad this bill is. And just like they did with Obamacare, where they spirited it through in the middle of the night, we woke up one day and we had nationalized health care, I'm sure that's the plan with this bill as well. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go over what this bill kind of encompasses, and you can find it. I'm going to show you guys the website right now. It's going to pop up on your screen here. So this is the bill. And you can go to congress.gov or simply Google H.R. 5717. And you can kind of follow along with what I'm going to talk about. This thing is so expansive that it's actually broken down with hot links to go through all the provisions that this bill would impose should it pass and become law. Sorry, guys, I'm losing my voice for some unknown reason. So this is really, really expansive. And let's cover off on some of the things that it seeks to do. First of all, the biggest thing is that it's going to require a national federal license for you to purchase firearms or ammunition. So no longer what the state has issued you will mean anything. If you want to buy a gun or if you want to buy ammunition for a firearm, you will need one of these new federal licenses. This license requires you to go to a live fire class to train with live fire ammunition. Then there's a written component. It would be illegal for you to be in possession of or touch a firearm until you have a license. There's a bit of a conundrum there. Okay, if you can't touch a gun without a license, how are you going to go touch a gun to shoot, to qualify, to get your license? Kind of an awkward way that it's worded, but that is one big thing. Now, not only does it institute this federal licensing scheme, which is also a tax, of course, there will be imposed a 30% tax on all firearms sold. Okay, so expect the price of your firearm that you're purchasing to go up by 30% because of the tax. That does not include the sales tax for the state that you live in. Of course, all government agencies, police departments, law enforcement, military, government agencies, ATF, IRS, the alphabets are, of course, exempt from all of these measures, as they always are. There will be a 50% tax on ammunition, doubling the cost of ammunition. Okay? Now, how this is in the interest of public safety, I don't know. What this is Jim Crow era laws. This is meant to make sure that only the elite can afford to exercise their Second Amendment rights. The middle class, the lower class, the people that truly need to protect themselves, that can't afford armed security guards, that aren't the political elite, this is who this is targeting. It is racist, it is corrupt, and it needs to be stopped. The fact that these clowns propose this type of stuff and it doesn't get called out by the snowflake media is beyond me. Because on its very face, it's denying Americans access to their rights, and it's denying a group that most desperately needs access to those rights because they can't afford, again, personal protection like the elites that are passing and writing these bills. All right, so then it creates a mandate to track all gun owners and firearms that they buy. So currently under federal law, it is illegal for the government to keep track of gun owners and what firearms they own. This changes that. If this passes into law, this will require the government within 2 years to track every single gun sale and tie it to an individual. They now have registration. Next step is confiscation, and we know that. There will be no more private transfers. That gun show loophole that they're always talking about, that goes away. Okay, there will be no more. Hopefully, my video here is streaming. Seems like it's stuttered here. Hopefully, you guys can still hear the audio. For whatever reason, it doesn't. It looks like my video is on pause for some reason. Oh, never a dull moment with technical issues. But anyway, we'll just go back over to the screen here where you can see the actual bill. All right, so hold on, let me try switching over cameras here really quick and see if that does anything. All right, here we go. I switched over cameras. Now, let's get back into this. All right, so it does away with all private ownership. Boy, I hate how this camera hunts for focus. I really, really hate that. All right, there we go. All right, so now, private transfers done, 7-day mandatory waiting period. So now you have a federal 7-day waiting period on any firearms purchase. You have a red flag law component at the federal level. Okay, so now they're going to push red flag laws through in this one omnibus type bill that just kind of does everything. Okay, what else we got here? And we haven't even gotten to the good parts yet. And by good, I mean, bad, being facetious. No one under the age of 21 would be able to own a firearm or purchase a firearm under this new bill. So that means you're old enough to go carry a firearm in defense of freedom and fight and die for this country, but when you come home, you can't have one. We'll trust you on the battlefield, but we won't trust you when you come home. Gotta love that. All right, let's see. 1 gun a month. Okay, so it institutes a 1 gun a month policy, something the gun grabbers have been trying to do forever. And then there's also a safe storage requirement. Now, keep in mind, each one of these different components has its own penalty associated with it. Sometimes it's a fine, sometimes it's imprisonment, okay? We have that safe storage requirement, and then we get into the assault weapons ban. And the bill, here, let me, well, you know what, guys, just go over to that link, because I'm afraid if I switch back over, my video will freeze up again. But it lists by name an extensive number of firearms that will be banned under the assault weapons ban, the made-up term that they came up with in 1994, which means pretty much anything that's semi-automatic. It also institutes, of course, a magazine capacity ban. That's obligatory. They always have to include that. Then there's a ban on builds, private builds, something that's been legal since the dawn of our nation. You will no longer be able to make a ghost gun. You will be a criminal if you do so. 80% lower is gone. Or if you just want to make a gun, 80% lower or not, gone. Always been able to do that as an American, but they want to take that away. Let's see. Ban all silencers, which they comically call mufflers in the bill. So silencers will now become illegal because we obviously have a major problem with silencers being misused in this country. And again, I'm being facetious. It never happens. But they want to go ahead and ban them, the mufflers. I don't even think these people understand what they're talking about. I know they don't understand what they're talking about. And then here's another thing that affects us at Copper Custom. They want to force FFLs to comply with extensive new security measures that would pretty much bankrupt any small mom and pop gun shop. It talks about concrete barriers, barriers on doors and windows and reinforcements on walls, things that you simply couldn't afford to do if you're a mom and pop gun shop. The Academy Sports of the world, things like that, the Cabela's, the places where they jack the prices way up, they're going to be just fine because they have the resources to do that. But your mom and pop local gun shop, they're going to be forced out of business by this law, should it pass. And then, of course, it forces background checks for all gun store owner employees. Okay, they want to throw that in there. It expands the gun-free zones in the United States. It adds to the places where you're not allowed to carry a firearm. And then, of course, once again, I want to just mention that all government officials, everybody that's in the military, law enforcement, government agencies, they're all exempt from this. They can carry on and do what they want, much just like they did during the 1994 assault weapons ban. There were law enforcement only magazines that companies sold that were regular capacity. The 10-rounders were sold to us peasants. But they're going to reinstitute that obviously with this because the government does not want to disarm itself. It just wants to disarm us. So they have the guns and we don't. And then it funds research into gun violence, presumably under the auspices, once again, of looking for new ways to save the public from the gun violence problem. Well, first of all, there's no such thing as gun violence. Guns are incapable of committing acts of violence. That is a criminal problem, and that is not something that you can legislate away, that being morality. And I don't think there's a criminal alive that stopped and said, I bet that's against the law. I probably shouldn't do that. The only people that this affects are the law-abiding Americans that just want to go about their daily lives, have the right to self-defense, and exercise their constitutional rights. It's never-ending. I know I'm kind of repeating myself when I say that in these videos, but guys, I'm just trying to drive that home. And then I want to talk about one irony that I saw in a news report before we tie up the live stream this afternoon. And then it establishes a buyback program. Tell me, how do you buy back something that was never yours? The government didn't own the guns I've purchased. I bought them from gun shops and manufacturers. The gun shops and manufacturers aren't buying them back. No, they want to use tax dollars and they want to force you to sell your gun back. Buyback program. What a great name. So, let's see if there's anything else here. Oh, this is another big one. This one, they want to, and the buyback would be on the assault weapons. They want to exclude firearms from product safety laws that are pre-existing. Okay, so under the current product safety laws, this is how it reads. The Consumer Protection Safety Commission shall make no ruling or order that restricts the manufacture or sale of firearms, ammunition, or components of firearms and ammunition, including black powder or gunpowder from firearms. This bill strikes that from the existing law, meaning they can do whatever they want. They can ban it all, they can restrict it all, they can tax it all. It's exempted or deleted from that existing law, which is called the Consumer Product Safety Commission. All right, so guys, that's the meat and potatoes of this. All I can tell you to do is reach out to your representatives and tell them you are paying attention. They're banking on the fact that we're all wrapped up with the COVID-19 pandemic, that we're not going to notice what they're attempting to do right now. We hope that Trump won't sign this into law, but we don't know. You can't predict what any politician will do. Trump hasn't necessarily been the best friend to the Second Amendment community with his bump stock bans, which we're currently fighting in federal court, and other things. And even Trump himself said that he would like to ban silencers. So let's hope that he isn't pushed into doing this by certain members of his family, like his daughter, who is staunchly anti-gun and has the president's ear, that he isn't convinced that this is some sort of a safety measure. My point being is we can't trust any politician, right? So we need to be diligent about this. We need to start making phone calls. We need to start sending those emails. You can go to the Gun Owners of America website and you can find a way to contact your representatives through the Gun Owners of America's website. They are very diligent about fighting these types of things. And then please spread this video far and wide and get the word out so other gun owners know what to do and how to do it, and just how bad of a threat this new law that's being proposed during a time of national crisis really is. All right, guys, I greatly thank you for your support. It means a lot to us. And if you would like to support us, because we aren't supported by the gun manufacturers, we are supported by our viewing audience. We do have a Patreon page. There's a link down below. You're watching this right now on YouTube. There's a little join button. Give it a click, and you can support us that way. And guys, we've been doing this for 12 years. We could not have done it without you. So thank you very much. And please get politically active. We are not safe from these types of laws. We have to fight them. We can't assume they're going to die in committee somewhere, or that Mitch McConnell's going to save us, or even that the president may save us. We can't make that assumption. We have way too much to lose. All right, guys, be safe, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks for watching.